Welcome to Keepin' It Real, your go-to radio show for fresh insights and vibrant introductions. Get ready to dive into a world where we offer you the latest in real estate wisdom and the juiciest community tidbits. From expert advice courtesy of top realtors to opportunities to give back through local charities, we've got you covered. Plus, we'll shine a spotlight on the young athletes driving our local sports scene and uncover the buzzworthy happenings both in town and beyond. Stay tuned for a jam-packed hour of enlightenment and entertainment right here on Keepin' It Real.
What's in a name? Everything. Long Realty has been a cornerstone of Southern Arizona's real estate market for nearly 100 years. Our name is our bond, and our agents are our strength. Trust in the name that stands for experience and expertise. Visit longrealty.com or call 520-459-4993 to connect with an agent today. Long Realty. Smart move.
All right, good morning and welcome to Keepin' It Real, brought to you by the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty Studios, right behind Denny's on 5 Boulevard. And I am joined in the studio by none other than Angela Semrad. And she is a local realtor, but she's also part of the Women's Council of Realtors right here, this local chapter in Sierra Vista. You're the president, right?
I am currently the president, yes.
So congratulations to that. And thank you for your leadership and everything in the community and, of course, with realtors. Before we actually ask you about this wonderful event that you're doing, tell me a little bit about what your role is in the organization and what are you hoping with this function that you're going to have?
So we do 2 fundraisers a year, and you interviewed us last year for our food truck fest.
I did.
The one that I've been involved in the most, ever since I joined Women's Council, which was about 4 years ago, was our dessert auction. And I don't cook that much, and when I bake, it's like for a special occasion. But somehow I'm known for this carrot cake, and I'm like, oh, you have a dessert auction? I'll make my carrot cake. So, and then I just kind of took over the role too as like the chairperson of it. And we're a small network, and so it's like the board kind of like all pitches in, and we get our members to help here and there, and of course our strategic partners, they come and help and bake and all that stuff. So it's going to be a fun event, and we raise these funds to be able to continue to send members to conferences and leadership classes and just do things for the community. We give back a lot to the community.
We're definitely going to talk about that. So this is your 9th annual Women's Council of Realtors in Sierra Vista Cochise dessert auction, right?
Yeah.
So 9th annual. So you've been doing it a long time.
Yep.
I've been to many of them, and they're super fun. Put this on your calendar. It's actually today, Saturday, February 28th. What time is it?
6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay.
So
that's when the actual event kicks off.
Yes.
Okay. Do your doors open before then? Or?
We're gonna be there at like 3 o'clock, starting to decorate and take in the desserts, and so people will probably start showing up about 5:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is where at?
Ethel Burger Center.
So it's going to be tonight at the Ethel Burger Center, 6 to 8 p.m.
Correct. There's no fee to get in the door. Come for free.
Well, nothing's better than free, right?
I know.
That's a perfect price.
Some of the networks in like the West Valley and Tucson, they charge to get in.
Yes.
Like $35 to $50.
Well, and to be honest, I mean, you think about there's a lot of charity events throughout this community, which is awesome, and we love that. But, a lot of them charge a fee to come in and get a seat at the table.
Got to pay for your venue and, the decorating, and there's some, charges
So
involved.
that's pretty cool. So this is Ethel Burger Center, which is at 2950 East Tacoma Street. It's right over by the library.
Yeah, back behind that.
Behind kind of the police department and everything. So really super accessible, easy to get to. Plug it right into your phone and get there. And this is the dessert auction. Who's your auctioneer this year?
This year we have Brad Clark.
Okay.
And he does our MLS tour meetings for We Serve Association. He sets up everything. He's a big audio guy, but he's a jazz player. He has his own band, and
he's kind of a funny guy too.
He is too. He's got a little humor to him, and you just never know what he's going to come out of his mouth. But he's also a dancer because you and I both have been involved in the Real Wishes Foundation, dancing like the stars. And Brad was a big.
I don't know if I was dancing as much as a star, but I was definitely trying. It was fun.
You gave it a good effort. You did well.
It was definitely different. Dancing, I've never been a dancer. I never took any lessons, and I just appreciated everybody helping out and giving advice and being encouraging because I was a little outside of my box.
Yeah.
I got to admit.
You wouldn't know it, though.
Really?
No, you looked pretty smooth.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that.
You and your partner, Renee.
Yes.
You guys had a really cute little dance. So.
Yeah. No, and it was at first when I saw that dance to a Michael Bublé song, and I thought, oh, my gosh. If the guys could see me now from federal law enforcement, they would get a good laugh out of it. But to be honest, it was a great song for me because it was much easier than some of you guys have had some very complicated stuff.
I know, but I feel like, because I've been in, one year I competed, and I've been in the alumni dance now twice. And every time it's still a bundle of nerves and like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to make a fool of myself. But
you do
that's
awesome.
the funny part of it.
You're super awesome.
Oh,
You're
thanks.
a super awesome dancer. So now, what are the proceeds to the dessert auction? Where do they go? What's going to be the key thing here?
Mainly, we're doing it as a fundraiser for ourselves to make funds to, be able to send our members here and there. But we also always, every year, pick a nonprofit.
That benefits also.
Yes. And, we, as a board, we sit and talk about it. And this year we picked the Echoing Hope Ranch, which I don't know that much about it, but I'm going to find out more at the dessert auction. But it is like an adult type for people with some mental challenges.
Yes.
Asperger's or autism or any other mental challenge. And I did hear, there's horses involved, horse therapy and farming, teaching them, some social skills of how to get along and do things and be productive. They won't get all of our proceeds, obviously, but we usually pick one or two desserts, and then we have a live auction as well as a silent auction. So, and then we run a 50-50 and we let them run that, so they get half of, the jackpot for that.
Oh, that's cool.
So, sounds
like there'll be a lot of fun elements to this year's event. And so tell us just briefly, what does it look like in terms of the desserts and stuff? I mean, is it mostly cakes? Is it, I kind of know this, but I'm asking you to kind of tell our listeners.
So, there's some people that have their certain specialty that they make. Now, Nancy Ray has been a realtor for, 40-some years. And she's known for her brownies that always have this big, whole pecan sitting on top of each little tiny brownie bite. So I have brownies, cookies, cakes, pies. Even Teresa Walsh, I got her involved this year. She's known for sourdough bread. She's making some homemade bread. Another new realtor is making, she made them last year. There's cinnamon rolls, but they have bacon in them.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, when I saw that last year, I'm like, where'd that come from? I wanted to buy one, but they were all gone.
Oh, wow.
Just a variety of things. So, yeah. And then also, on some of the things, I just want to put a pitch in for Golden Rule. Henry, it's Guerra. I can't say it. Yeah, there you go. Last year, he donated a couple pieces of jewelry. So we kind of paired them with some of the items so that it would entice somebody even more to want to bid on that. I went back and saw him the other day, and he's like, well, what do you want? Last year you just gave me a bag to pick from, and I picked what I wanted. So this year I picked out a pair of earrings, and he also gave me a silver dollar, which is 1 ounce of silver, and the price of silver and gold right now is astronomical.
So that's going to be worth something,
he's like,
too.
oh, this one little coin right here is worth $100.
Wow.
So I've got a coin to pair with something. So.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Yeah, and some of these things I can tell you from some of the years we've been in there. Gosh, even one year there was these cool candied apples in there, and I was bidding against, I think it was Cat Hardy from Grateful Goods that year, and oh my gosh, we went back and forth. And those things were, sometimes they get a little pricey. Some of them are very affordable, so it just depends. And but it's a ton of fun.
Yeah,
really a lot of fun.
It is fun.
Well, I appreciate you coming in and telling us all about it. So many times in the beginning of our show, we just talk about the different events that are happening. So it's great to get actually a coordinator and event organizer in here to actually tell us.
Thank you for having me and letting me, talk about it a little bit.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Angie. And so this is the 9th annual Women's Council of Realtors, Sierra Vista Cochise branch of the Women's Council. And they are hosting the dessert auction tonight, Saturday, February 28th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Ethel Burger Center, 2950 East Tacoma Street, right here in Sierra Vista. So come on down and celebrate with them. Enjoy some wonderful desserts and bidding on those and having a lot of fun with them. A lot of the proceeds will go to help serve them in different functions that they do, as well as the Echoing Hope Ranch, which is a great charity to be able to help support. So come on down and help support the community. Thanks,
Thank
Angie.
You. Thanks so much, Dan.
You bet. We'll be right back, folks, with Keeping It Real, brought to you by Sherry Ethell and the team right here at Long Realty Studios. Be right back.
In a town with heart and history, the Sherry Ethell Team is the key. Serving Sierra Vista, we agree. For military law and retirees, stress-free process you will see. Personal care is our guarantee. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team, we never halt. Real experts here to guide your way. making dreams come true every single day. Trust a team that knows just what to do. The Sherry Ethell Team, working for you. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team is your one and only call.
All right, good morning, good Saturday morning to all of you out there listening today, and we appreciate you and all that you do. This is Dion Ethell with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty Studios, and this is Keepin' It Real. And today we are keeping it real with another business spotlight. The great lady here, Abigail Hudson. And Abigail, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
And I've also got Randy Wise, one of our team realtors, and he's going to be co-hosting today, so welcome, Randy.
Welcome, everyone.
We kind of want to dig into your background a little bit, learn more about you, the person, before we kind of talk about your business. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. So maybe you could tell us a little bit. I know we talked about it before the show, and it's a journey. You have really put some miles on, more than most people. A lot of people, born, raised here, the whole life is spent here. But you've actually kind of toured the world, haven't you?
I have, yes.
So where did it all begin? Where did you grow up?
Well, I was born in Honduras, Central America. I was there from birth to 20 years old when I moved, got married, and then moved to Orlando.
Okay, and you moved to Orlando, Florida. Was that kind of a big shock? Was that different for you, leaving your home country and everything?
Yes, it definitely was different. However, when I got to Orlando, it was a lot of Hispanics.
Sure.
It was a lot of Hispanics.
A lot of immigrants there.
A lot of immigrants. So everything, it was very welcome atmosphere. As soon as I got to Orlando, I started going to school. So I made a lot of friends in school.
Okay.
I got to familiarize with what United States was, and at the same time, education and then friends. So I kind of settled pretty fast, I think.
Now, was your husband in the Army then, or that was later?
No, he was already a civilian.
He was already a civilian?
When he was in the Army, but he was already a civilian when I married him.
Okay, okay. So, and now take us from there. Where did you go from there?
So from living in Orlando, so we settled in Orlando for about 4.5 years. That's where, my daughters were born. And then from there...
And you have two daughters,
I
right?
have two daughters.
Okay.
And then once... time went on, and one of those days the company decided to close locations in Orlando. So then they gave him a choice to move within the United States or actually move overseas. So he loved living overseas. So we ended up moving to Japan.
Oh, wow, Japan. And what kind of work was he doing?
Aircraft mechanic.
Aircraft mechanic. Okay, so take you anywhere. So you went to Japan. Now, that's kind of a shock. Was that different living there?
It was different. However, to be honest with you, when I moved to Japan, even though I had in back of my head that it was an island, when I got there, it was literally an island. So, however, as soon as we got to Japan, well, I didn't know either. I had not done research. My daughters my oldest was 15 months and my youngest was 3 months. They were little. So I traveled by myself. My husband was already in Japan. So I traveled by myself. And then once I got there, I don't know, everything, it was like, looked so familiar. It looked very chaotic. So I got to Japan and I already had friends over there. It just happened through my husband's job.
From the job, yeah.
I already had friends over there. And then I kind of went into a family.
That sense. Support system,
yeah. So it was really great. So as soon as I got there, my husband went to pick me up because he was like really far, very chaotic driving.
Yeah.
And then pick me up and everything, and it was different.
What was your house like? I mean, did you live in a house or an apartment?
No, it was a house. It was a tiny house. It was a tiny house. Most houses are very tiny, but they're cute. Yeah. That's the thing, cute and tiny. So it was 3-bedroom, 2-story home.
Okay.
And so it was really cute. We lived there for about 7 years, and then from there, for 7 years, then we were like, we are grown. The girls didn't need as many toys anymore, so we need to move to a bigger house. to support the backpacks and the books.
Right.
So we end up moving to a bigger house where we actually stay for almost 2 years before moving back to the States.
Okay, so you moved back to the States, and where were you in the States?
We moved to Maryland.
Maryland. So you moved back to Maryland, still doing the same kind of work. Did friends then end up coming back there? Did you have friends there as well? Is this kind of a community thing?
No, I actually did not have friends in Maryland.
Okay.
I was actually very excited to go to Maryland, but it became really shocking actually living in Maryland.
Really? Why?
Well, because we moved, it was at the end of 2005.
Okay.
So the housing boom was very crazy. So what we have seen online, it was not actually the reality.
Okay.
We actually, we purchased a property, but it was great. However, it was like more completely, it was like very expensive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. East Coast stuff, very expensive.
It was super expensive.
Yeah.
Not what we thought it was going to be due to the fact that both of us had full-time jobs, but it was like super, super expensive. And then, my daughters, they didn't really absorb the living in the States as great as we had hoped. So then we ended up moving overseas again.
Okay, you moved back overseas. Where did you go this time?
This time we ended up we had two choices. It was going to be, the company had asked my husband Brazil, which I was very excited to go there because I actually did have friends in Brazil because from being in Japan.
Right.
And then, but then his boss said, that is not going to be a good location for your daughters at that little. They were like preteens, so we're just going to send you, I feel like it's the best choice is go back to Japan. So we end up being in Okinawa.
Oh, wow.
So we end up in Okinawa, which I would think that is the best place that I have been.
A lot of times.
Really? You liked it there?
I liked it.
What did you like most about it?
I would say it was breezy all the time.
Yeah.
It was like the weather was really nice. The food was good. Everything was fresh. I mean, I drove the island because I have many islands with it, and it was really nice. The air, quality of air is very clean. Food, when you go to the market, it was like not massive supermarkets you can buy from the stand, and food was great.
Yeah, that's
very clean.
My son lived in Okinawa while he was in the Army and everything, and he really, really enjoyed it. And he said the same thing. Food was excellent there. Yes. Really, really liked it.
And you're very convenient, really, because you are kind of in the middle of many places you can go.
All right, so I got to ask. So now you've gone back to Japan. At what point did it bring you back here?
Well, from Japan, we were there for 3 years. We thought we were going to be there for 6. So we end up breaking for. It just happened. The company decided to move my husband. That's what I think it happened. And then they were like, we have an offer to send you overseas, but it is going to be in Europe. So we end up going to Budapest, Hungary. It was that was the biggest transition that we made because my daughters grew up in Japan. They went to Japanese school. They knew that, even though we lived in Maryland for 3 years, but they knew Japan as most of their home country. And then
that's odd for the kids and everything.
So then we made that whole circle because from Okinawa we had friends in mainland, so we stayed in mainland for about a day and a half before coming to Los Angeles, where some of my family is. So we spent Christmas with my friends in my family in Los Angeles. Then we flew to Georgia to be New Year's with his family.
Because he's from Georgia.
He's from Georgia.
Okay.
So then once we spent the end of the year in Georgia, we moved to Budapest. So it was like a whole, like about 2 weeks traveling up and down.
Now, did your kids pick up some of the language when they were in Japan?
Yes.
So they spoke some Japanese?
My oldest daughter, I'm not going to say she's fluent in Japanese, but she speaks pretty good. Because we set them in Japanese school.
Wow.
So they learn to read and write to the stages of how the language is taught.
It's very interesting. Just thinking about it. I don't know.
Yeah, because
you did some traveling, Randy. During your career in the Army and stuff. But
I was mostly in the States. So, so that's a lot of different cultures you've experienced.
Yeah.
So, which is your favorite from Honduras to Orlando to Japan to Budapest?
Well, I really love Japan.
Yeah, you like Japan.
I love Japan. I have a lot of growth in there.
Yeah.
You know, a
lot of years of your life, right?
A lot of
Your
years,
kids
a
grew
lot
up.
of friends. I also went to church. We did a lot of ministry in there. We got to, ministry so many different levels as far as needs,
Right.
with missions and and kids and women in general. So I got to grow as a person also in Japan, and also so it was great because I feel like the time that I was there, it was very how would I say, very productive for me, because from the girls being little, growing that stage, I got to do so much.
Awesome. Well, it's about time for a break. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back, folks. Again, we're with Abigail Hudson, and we're going to talk all about her business coming up here, a little business spotlight, kind of want to get to know her. And then we're going to talk about how then she goes from Budapest back here. Now, her husband, I think we're going to talk a little bit about, he had been here before and really liked it, enjoyed it, and then brought you guys here. But it was a little bit surprising. We'll hold that thought, and we'll come right back. Folks, this is Keepin' It Real, brought to you by Sherry Ethell Team right here at Long Realty Studios. We'll be right back. Tax time is here, but before you spend your refund, consider real estate with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty. It's a great way to move from renter to homeowner and on the road to building wealth.
Hi, I'm Sherry Ethell, Realtor and Team CEO of the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty. Think of me as your guide to all things real estate. I tailor my approach to your needs and, most importantly, your goals. It's time to come see me and get a plan for your success.
Discover excellence in real estate with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty, your premier choice in Cochise County. Visit Sherry at Long Realty behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard in Sierra Vista. Call or text 717-599-2439 or Google us for more information. Real integrity, real results. It's the Home Spotlight Series, where home stories are told until they're sold.
Today's featured home is an excellent opportunity for anyone looking for affordability, space, and a solid foundation to make their own. 100 East Free Hodges Drive is a 3-bedroom home which offers 1668 square feet with an inviting living area featuring wood laminate flooring. The kitchen is updated and well designed for cooking and baking with Corian countertops, stainless steel appliances, an electric cooktop, breakfast bar, and great cabinet and counter space. The primary bedroom includes its own ensuite bath with a walk-in shower, plus 2 additional bedrooms and a full guest bath. You'll also appreciate the large indoor laundry room for added storage and convenience. Outside, enjoy a generous backyard with grass, a covered patio, and a storage shed. And one of the best features is the durable metal roof, a long-lasting upgrade that adds real value. If you're looking for a home in a desirable midtown location with room to personalize, this one is worth a look.
717-599-2439. Buy and sell with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty. We make success stories for a living. All right, welcome back. This is Dion Ethell, and I'm the host of Keepin' It Real. But today I'm here with Randy Wise, one of my team realtors. He's right here in the studio. Thanks for teaming up today, Randy.
My pleasure. Good morning, everyone.
And we're here with Abigail Hudson, and we're going to be talking about, we haven't even revealed her business yet, but we're almost there. But we want to kind of talk about you. We left off talking that you'd been all over the world. You started in Honduras, grew up there, came to the States, immigrated here with your husband. He was originally U.S. Army and had then gone out and worked as a contractor all over the world. You went to Japan and Okinawa and Budapest, and now we're coming back to the States, to Sierra Vista. How did that happen?
We had planned to, we thought we were going to be in Budapest for about 4, 5, 6 years since, his job. He doesn't have to move that often, but it just happened that about 20 months after being in Budapest, he got the orders to move like 3 different locations, Vermont, Texas, and then here. So he had been in Sierra Vista before when he was in the Army, and he loved it, and that's how we end up here. So he asked me, which place do I choose? I said, I have not been in neither, so I will say, you choose, and then where you go, I'll go. So that's how we end up here.
You're pretty good about that. I mean, a lot of wives and everything, that's pretty awesome of you to move all over the world. I mean, this guy has drug you clearly all over the world, and that's awesome.
I do enjoy moving.
You do?
I actually have enjoyed the move. I often said that I already had a luggage made back of my door ready to move every time. But
well, you've moved a lot.
Yeah, I moved a lot. But my daughter said that I become a little bit of a monster when I'm ready to move because I become like very organized. I'm ready. So I'm ready and the packing. Yeah, I get lists going and stuff like that. So they don't like that fact when we had started the moving.
I know from the Army. Sometimes it's hard to leave a place because you get established, you grow roots. But sometimes it's good to leave. And sometimes you're at a place for about 4 years ago. I think it's time we moved.
Yes. I loved every place that we lived. I know there were improvements in my life, every location that I moved, that I lived. However, I'm not going to say I was ready to move every time we move. Yeah. However, I embraced the new that it was coming.
That's awesome. So now you ended up here in Sierra Vista, and probably a little surprised. You've experienced some bigger places, and here's this little tiny town. Was that a shock?
Well, yes, it was. It was a little bit shocking because my husband was like very excited to come to Sierra Vista.
Yeah,
so
he really liked it.
He had built a pretty hype for us.
Right.
Then when we
what
got
kinds
here,
of things was he telling you?
That it was nice, that it was quiet, that it was nice.
It is those things, yeah.
Yes. But it had been 20 years that he had not been in Sierra Vista. So I think he probably thought that those 20 years it would have been way overdeveloped. So when he got here, it was not really that much.
Right, because that was a while ago.
Yeah, but he was very excited.
How long have you lived here in Sierra Vista now?
Right now, 12 years.
12 years. Okay, so you've been here a while.
Yeah.
So that was a bit ago, and even then it was different than it is today.
Yeah.
Even we've grown a little bit.
Yeah, it has grown a little bit. So,
but still pretty small.
It is. It still is. I would say is. I think for a small family, not a small family, but growing families is good. But I got here when my daughters were teenagers, older, ready. Seniors in high school and ready for college. So that made it a little bit tougher transition for them from a big city, to a very small town, which are only 2 high schools. So not many to choose.
Not
and then they
choices.
were like at a very, very time.
It's tough already for kids to move when they're that old anyway, and then to transition to a much smaller community can be tough. All right, so now you're here in Sierra Vista. I got to ask the question and everything. Has it grown on you a little bit now?
Oh yeah. I do like Sierra Vista. I end up liking it. It took me a minute really to kind of embrace living in Sierra Vista because I did like a lot of factors. I just really couldn't understand the desert living.
What he had kind of lived up to.
Exactly.
He really set the bar high.
Yeah, he really did. So so it was a little bit. It took some time to kind of learn to understand and visualize what the desert was, because for me desert was not exactly
this is so much different. This high desert living is much different.
So and then I do remember the thin air. People say like, it's high altitude, so thin air, so you be careful. So I was like, well, I don't know what that means. I went out running, and within 2 minutes, I was like out of breath. I was like, oh my God, I cannot breathe. I think that is when wait a minute, this is actually...
Did he tell you about snakes and scorpions and javelinas and all that stuff too?
Yeah, all of that. But let me tell you, till today's day, I think I have seen only 2 snakes.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So I haven't really seen much.
That's good.
So that is good. All of that wildlife I haven't seen, but I know it's out there.
Yeah.
I stay away from it.
So I know you spend a lot of your time, so let's kind of drill down to what you do. So you are a seamstress, right?
Yes, I am.
And you have your own business here locally.
Yes.
Where's your business located?
My business is located at Haymore Plaza, which is 500 East Fry. Often known, I think, this plaza has been there for over 30 years, but it's right across from La Casita restaurant on Fry. And then, so my business the plaza is a pretty big plaza. So my business is located at the first floor, back of the building. Back of the building.
But you're moving, aren't you?
I am moving to I called it the top floor, but probably that is a little bit misleading. So I'm just going to basically the top next to Cafe Olé. So it's going to be very visible from Fry.
Okay, so different. Yeah, that's awesome. Tell us a little bit about just... How did you get into becoming a seamstress? Were you always a seamstress? I think we had talked before. You didn't do it when you were in Honduras, but you had done some classes or something?
Right. Yes. Well, my mom is, she was a tailor.
Oh, okay.
And then, so
it was in the family.
It
then.
was in the family, and I grew up around, my mom was very organized with the work because she was always booked. She was way overbooked, and she didn't have help. We were a lot. My mom and my daddy, we were like a really big family. So she had a home business. My dad also had a home business. So, we were at home all the time. And then they were very focused in education at the same time. So, but my mom was very organized with the business. We were not able, allowed to touch nothing about the business.
Really?
Sewing yet. She, unfortunately, and, she already passed away, so she would not say like that's not true. But she did not teach me to sew. She didn't, because she was very focused. I need to make money.
Money, yeah.
So then that's what it was. So what I would do is when she stepped away from the machine, which was the pedal, the single pedal. So I would just
try it out.
I try it out.
Sneak in there.
I did, and then my mom would be like, "You better not break my needles." And then I got a little bit accidents once in a while. I stuck it on my finger one time, and I was like, I can't tell nobody I did that, because then
you'd be in trouble.
Yeah. So
now, how many kids were in your family?
13.
13?
Wow.
13.
Are you kidding? Wow.
Yeah. So my parents
that is
were,
a big family.
Yeah, 2 brothers and 11 daughters.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's. So I'm in the number 9th in the whole clan, just in case.
Okay.
I'm not the small one, and not the youngest
so
one.
you're somewhere blended in the middle.
Yeah. So yeah.
Wow.
Number 9. So.
Number 9. Gosh.
Yes. Yeah. So that's how. So I learned from my mom some business ethics, because do not touch certain stuff, because that is business. And then I didn't touch anything. So how I learned is because my dad traveled for his business off and on, so he would bring us dolls. So I would undo the little dolls' clothes so I could make more clothes from the scraps that my mom would just drop in the floor. So that's how I actually learned.
That's how you learn how to do it.
Because you deconstruct to construct.
Sure,
so that's how I learned. And then in home ec in the school, I learned to do hand embroidery. So I was pretty good at that. I would make them really fast. At one point that my teacher was like, "You can slow down." And I was like, "Well, I can't." So I would just make them really, really fast.
Show off. Wow.
Yeah, I would make them really fast because I just wanted to do more. And then sometimes I would make 2 to 3 a year. And then they was like, "No, you just slow down," because, some kids were in the still beginning, and I was like really fast. So that's how I started. And then I told my mom. So for me, it was like really great to see, people come into the house to get measured and everything, in the magazines and the pictures and everything. And I was like, I am curious how that becomes this. That's how my curiosity started. And then I ended up going to 2.5 years to fashion school.
Now, I remember you were talking about kind of in the studio before we started with your kids and everything. You actually made some of their clothing because you didn't have a lot of choices. You could buy from the store, or you could, and it was really limited. So tell us about that.
Well, yeah. So I started doing a lot of clothes for my daughters due to the fact, again, I was bored and then limited in what the store had provided. And then my husband was traveling all the time, so I had a lot of time on my hands. So I had a Etna, or Elna machine, which was really great. So I started sewing for my daughters, and then that's how friends and neighbors found out about, like, where you get your clothes. They saw that, and that's how I started sewing for other people. Consequently, I started my first business.
And so you started your first business overseas?
Overseas. That was in Japan.
Wow. And then and that's kind of migrated to over here now. You've got like your own business. And how long have you been doing the seamstress work here? Then the whole time?
Right here has been 11 years.
11 years.
I started in September 2015.
Wow. So, and altogether, you've been doing it for decades.
Has been years. For about 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
On and off, from here to Japan to Budapest.
Budapest. Oh, you did some in Budapest as well.
Yes, I did. I started in Budapest because I was not allowed to work because my husband's assignment. So, it just happened. Things finds the way. And then again, I was doing, a friend of mine asked me to do something. And then I ended up fixing an alteration for one of my friends. And then she spread the word like, hey, sewing. And then I ended up having a business and doing bridal and all kind of things in Budapest. And then it's just everywhere.
Yeah. Wow.
When you were in Japan, Budapest, did you pick any like skills or style from those areas as far as the culture and incorporate
that's a
that
good
into your
question.
selling?
Yeah.
Yes, actually, when I lived in Japan mainland, not as much, because I was doing like small children's clothes and a lot of uniforms, the Navy uniform. So not as much. But when I was in Okinawa, yes, the whole time in Okinawa were for 3 years, 2.5 years, I did gowns, bridal, beads. That is where I actually developed, because I was able to practice on a daily basis the skill of beading and working with lace and different intricate patterns. Because in Okinawa, it was a party every weekend with military spouses. Yes. So it was events everywhere. And so it was a fashion show every weekend with the spouses because, who would have better. So I got to do so much, so many gowns and styles. So beading and lace, that was my specialty. Okay. That what I picked up in Okinawa.
Wow. Cool. Wow. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Folks, this is Keepin' It Real with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty, and we're keeping it real with Abigail Designs and talking to Abigail Hudson. So we'll be right back, folks.
Discover excellence in real estate with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty, your premier choice in Cochise County. Sherry's amazing team brings honesty, expertise, and a deep understanding of the local market. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned homeowner, they're committed to your peace of mind and handle every detail for you. Their approach? Personalized service, above and beyond transactional real estate, building lifelong relationships, nationwide connections, local expertise. There's a reason this team is amongst the top realtors in Arizona and across the nation. You owe it to yourself to call or visit the Sherry Ethell Team, the top team at Long Realty, behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard in Sierra Vista. Call or text 717-599-2439 or Google us for more info. Real integrity, real results.
It's the Home Spotlight series where home stories are told until they're sold.
Today we're excited to feature a beautiful Castle and Cook home in one of Sierra Vista's most desirable neighborhoods, the Estates at Holiday. Welcome to 4390 Christopher Drive, listed at $455,000, offering 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and 2251 square feet of bright, comfortable living space. The open split floor plan creates a spacious and inviting atmosphere. You'll love the bay window dining nook, the generous living area, and the gorgeous kitchen featuring deep wood cabinetry, granite counters, stainless steel appliances, and a stylish backsplash. Additional highlights include indoor laundry, a 2-car garage with epoxy floors, and a water softener, plus a covered patio and an outdoor spa to unwind and enjoy. All of this just a short walk to community pools, playgrounds, the activity center, and minutes from shopping and restaurants.
717-599-2439. Buy and sell with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty. We make success stories for a living. All right, welcome back to Keepin' It Real, brought to you by Sherry Ethell and the team here at Long Realty Studios, right behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. And we are here in the studio today with Abigail Hudson. And Abigail has Abigail Designs right over in the Haymore Plaza. Before the last break, we were talking about that you're moving to a new location right next to Cafe Olé, so a little more visible, a little more out front.
Yes.
And so we're looking forward to that. And we were talking about just, I think, Randy, you had asked about the influences of culture of all these different places that Abigail had been. Thinking about all of the things that you've done with the seamstress side of it, from alterations to these big gowns and all the, whether it be beading or sequins or lace or whatever. What's your favorite to work on?
Well, my favorite is bridal.
Okay, you do like bridal.
I do like a lot of bridal. It is a bit complicated in the sense because the lace, the bead, the sequins, and
why do you like it so much? I'm just curious. My grandmother, so she lived to be 103. She stopped working at about 94, 95 years old, and she was a seamstress. And her favorite was gowns. And I never quite understood that. She's been passed for a long time now. But what do you like about that? Because it seems like that's hard.
Well, I will say that is because from one gown to the next, even though might look the same, it's not exactly the same.
It's different.
Because who's going to wear it?
Does it ever worry you, though? Because it's like a big day for somebody, right? So it's like got to be perfect, kind of special.
It has to be perfect. I actually tell, this is my motto with the brides. It's like, once you come to my shop, once you leave, don't leave worry-free. Leave that for me.
Okay. I like that.
Because, just leave that for me because now your gown, it is on my hand, so Let me worry about how that is going to turn out. Don't worry about that. You worry about, focusing on your nice day and in your big day. That's about it. But I like bridal because it's intricate.
Yeah.
I think I get to learn more and more every time that I get to do alterations in one, or because I do the constructions quite a bit. I have been able to, upon request, brides, they bring 2-3 different gowns, and they say, like, make one from that.
Okay.
So that is redesigning instead of alterations. But
do you ever make some from scratch?
Yes.
Yeah. So you make some from scratch, some combining multiple.
Yes.
Wow.
I am actually making one right now.
Yeah.
From scratch.
From scratch. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. That would make me nervous, though, I think. So that's awesome that you have such a great attitude about things. I actually had a friend of mine, I worked with him many, many years ago from Honduras, and he was a lot like you. I don't know if that's a thing with the culture or whatever, but just a very driven person and just a very kind person, and just really always wanted to take the load off of other people.
Well, the thing is, alterations, a lot of bridal. I think when you're talking about weddings, bridal, quinceañeras, all of those events, it is a stigma of worry, or you have to worry, you gotta look good and everything, but it is not emphasized that you're not the person who's going to be wearing the gown. It has a lot of people around them. So when wedding comes around, it's not just the bride, it is a group of people that are around the bride, and they should be encouraging, not like, not kind of pulling apart. So for me, when a bride or a group, because sometimes the brides bring the moms, grandmas and everything, so I do encourage like worry-free atmosphere when is that.
I like it.
Because I don't want the bride to live anxious.
Right.
Even more when they leave. So I just tell them,
so it's just one
so that's what I have, like 5-10 brides, a week or a month, and I just tell them, be worry-free, let me worry about that. Because sometimes they ask, like, how you gonna do it? Like, girl, don't worry about that.
It's gonna look fabulous.
Yeah, don't worry. Just worry about all
just
the
go
things.
Pick out your cake.
Exactly. Do the taste, the wine taste or whatever. But that's what I do, because I have work. One of my specialties when I went to school is, like, I told my instructor, this is what I want to learn to do. So then I also took a lot of tutorials. Being overseas helped a lot to define different lines. Like shopping online compared to in store is a lot different, because, centimeters to inches, it should translate exactly the same, but nevertheless, some sizes does not really, meet. So then when someone orders something online, they bring it over, absolutely doesn't fit. They are panicking. I tell them,
you
like,
tailor it.
Yes. I say, like, worry free. I can do it. And I tell my clients, if I cannot do it, I'll tell you right away. I'm not going to give you hope.
And you can do that by looking at it?
Yes.
Really?
I do.
I've just discovered this recently, that I don't have to walk around with my sleeves like 6
baggy.
inches too long. I can actually go to somebody and have them fixed for very cheap. It's like, I wish I had known this a long time ago.
So that brings up a great point, too. So you do men's clothing as well.
I do a menswear, yes.
Because I know Randy's been a client before of you, and it's funny because I don't know, us guys, we put up with a lot of stuff, the baggy sleeves or something, and you just wear it, and you're like, gosh, I wish that wasn't like that. But it doesn't have to be. You could actually come to you, Abigail, and you could actually fix that.
Yes, I do. Like from resizing a shirt to resizing a suit. I do a lot of menswear, suits, and also trousers, jeans. And because nowadays with I think it's a new fashion trend, or it is just like, develop new sense of style. A lot of men are more clean, they want the clean look. Yeah. So not the baggy type, not the baggy because it was in style, but because they didn't know they could be a little bit more tailored.
Yeah.
So I do have like a pretty good amount of male clients because of they want to look tailored.
Have you ever done any from scratch stuff for men, like a vest or a sport coat or something?
Yes, trousers. I have done quite a bit.
Really?
Yes, and vests definitely, and also shirts.
Really?
And I know, talking to you, the cost to go out and find a jacket you like and then bring it to you, then have it altered for about that same price, you can make me something that would fit me, not just my sleeves, which is
but it is tailored to because when you buy at the store, and please, I'm not saying don't go buy at the store.
Sure.
What you buy at the store is the way that it is made, because I do custom made. That's why I don't make for sale, because then whoever buys it might need alteration. So then I have to alter it.
Do it again, yeah.
So when you have custom made, everything is done to your size. When you go to the store, you buy something that is gonna fit. Start your shoulders for men, it has to fit your shoulder first.
Right.
So if it fits your shoulder, and if you have like a small torso, you go to the gym and you have shoulder, kind of broad shoulders, what it is not going to fit you in the waistline and in the hip.
They never quite fit.
No, they don't. So that's why when you buy from rack, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing, because many people do fit, but that is what you're going to
Well,
get.
I've got really long arms too. I'm a tall guy, so it's always a challenge to even find them.
Yeah. So there are special orders, I think, or some stores, they carry that tall. And so then if you buy a jacket for you, for example, that it fits the length of your arm, it probably be very long.
Yeah.
So there is something that still have to be tweaked to be fit for you.
Right. Well, and honestly, so there's a guy who comes to town like once a year. It was a friend of a friend, and he's a seamstress, or I don't know, what do you call a guy who's a seamstress?
Tailor.
Tailor. Yeah. Okay. Duh. But Seamster. I'm like, I lost it for a second there. I couldn't even think of what it was. That's funny. But so he comes to town, and he's from Bangkok, and he comes in, and we have him. I usually have him make me some tailor-made suits, and I love those things. Right. But then too, you have a shoulder surgery or something, and you lose a little bit of mass, and you change a little bit over time, or you get older, and then they don't fit quite as good. I got a couple of vests that just I love the vest, it just doesn't fit as good anymore. It kind of like wrinkles up, spots, and you just don't feel as good about wearing it.
Yeah, sometimes.
But you can fix that.
Yeah, because sometimes, shoulders or waistline or even hip, sometimes I really don't understand how they cut them in this. And I make clothes. Yeah. And I don't know what pattern they use, because it's like way off. Yeah. But it has to do with, who is the audience, who they are mass producing it to.
Mass production, one size.
Sure.
So that is, when things, mass production for different countries, sizes are different.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, it really does depend on where you get the stuff from. But it is a challenge. I mean, no matter what, it's like Randy was saying, I think, no matter what you do, there's like something not quite right. The sleeves, or it's the length, or it's the fit, or something, and it's hard to get that tailor feel. We'll hold that thought, and we'll come right back. Folks, this is Keepin' It Real, brought to you by Sherry Ethell Team right here at Long Realty Studios. We'll be right back.
We're the real wayfinders, the trailblazers, the go-getters. In a town where the desert waits before dawn, we don't just talk, we make things happen. And when we speak, it's real, it's genuine, and it's worth hearing. Tune in every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on Canyon Country 97.7 FM. Join the Sherry Ethell Team for Keepin' It Real, where top realtors, local heroes, and the heartbeat of our community come together. Raw, authentic conversations, expert market insights, and the best local events you can't afford to miss. Keepin' It Real, celebrating our community. Bold, genuine, one of a kind.
It's the Home Spotlight Series, where home stories are told until they're sold.
Today's featured home is an excellent opportunity for anyone looking for affordability, space, and a solid foundation to make their own. 100 East Free Hodges Drive is a 3-bedroom home which offers 1668 square feet with an inviting living area featuring wood laminate flooring. The kitchen is updated and well designed for cooking and baking with Corian countertops, stainless steel appliances, an electric cooktop, breakfast bar, and great cabinet and counter space. The primary bedroom includes its own ensuite bath with a walk-in shower, plus plus 2 additional bedrooms and a full guest bath. You'll also appreciate the large indoor laundry room for added storage and convenience. Outside, enjoy a generous backyard with grass, a covered patio, and a storage shed. And one of the best features is the durable metal roof, a long-lasting upgrade that adds real value. If you're looking for a home in a desirable midtown location with room to personalize, this one is worth a look.
717-599-2439. Buy and sell with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty. We make success stories for a living. All right, welcome back to Keepin' It Real, brought to you by Sherry Ethell and the team here at Long Realty Studios, right behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. And we are here in the studio today with Abigail Hudson. And Abigail has Abigail Designs right over in the Haymore Plaza. And we were talking about just, I think, Randy, you had asked about...
So speaking of like men's fashions or fashions in general, so what have you seen through the years that is kind of like, what's like the craziest thing you ever saw that wish never happened, or?
Well, I will have to break it down. You know, like if you're talking about like male trends.
Was there like
or
a period where
female?
men's like fashions for anybody's just like, man, I can't wait till this goes away?
Probably the baggy pants.
Oh, yeah, the baggy pants stuff.
It does. I think it was overdone.
Yeah.
It is. I think it is in style again, but with a twist.
Yeah.
And also the rip, but it's with a twist because it's a lot of. I get quite a bit in males and females.
Oh yeah, the rip.
Like ripped jeans.
Yeah.
And ripped clothes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
But that is more trendy because now it is not just a rip. You know, you have like for females like a lace or something polka dot in between.
Oh yeah, in between,
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So make it more fashionable compared to like just a tear in there.
Have
like
you ever done that? Made those before?
Yes.
With a tear and some lace or
We
something?
actually designed
No
one.
kidding.
We actually designed one for a client
Ooh, that's kinda cool.
he actually brought a cameo pants.
Yeah.
And it was like brand new. He purchased from the store just like cameo like that, and he said, "I want you to go crazy on it."
Wow.
And then
Make them look used.
Yeah,
yes, and
that's
then
something.
yes, and then so we did that. You know, the front of the leg and the back of the leg. You know, strategically positioned. You know, length, square, stuff like that. Because he wanted like that. So,
no kidding.
Yeah.
Somebody actually paid.
No,
paid
I took my daughter to one of the stores, and these jeans were like $90, and they were all tore up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, you know, being dad, I'm like, Jesus, I have some of those, and the guy's like, no, you don't understand. Each one is made by hand and rubbed and torn purposely. It's like,
that is actually a machine that I actually wish I could actually buy it if I could find it somewhere. It's not in Amazon. I did look. That is actually a machine
that does that.
That does that. So
it's called a Black & Decker sander.
Oh yeah, I heard that one. I tried that, and I think I sand it way down on the table.
Yeah.
But it does the ripping, so you can actually program to the degree you want to, and with a design and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So because those trends that they come and go.
Yeah.
So they stay for a little bit, or they go, you know, and teenagers find is the one who can come up with that stuff. But yeah,
it's kind of weird right now, because it's kind of an odd time in that there's a really broad range of what is acceptable now. I mean, in terms of just general, you can almost do whatever you want, and even colors together. I see some odd colors together, and I'm like, wow, that looks strange, but okay. Do you? You know?
Yeah.
Well, people wear pajamas everywhere.
Oh, people wear pajamas a lot.
I'm against the pajama.
Yeah, you're
look.
against that look.
I am.
Yeah.
Yes, my mom would have a cow.
Yeah. Well, you know, and it depends on the cultures and where you're at too. I remember when we were in South Texas, one of the things is the ladies, when they go to the grocery store and everything, man, they dress up pretty nice, and they're in heels and everything.
Yes.
And so it's like, yeah, you would look out of place if you were in pajamas there.
I had that experience when I got to the state.
Yeah.
Yes.
No kidding.
Because my husband said, like, you know, we lived in Orlando. We had just moved to the apartment.
Yeah.
And then he said he's a sports guy, so he was watching, you know, all the sports going on Sunday. And then he said, I just want to let you know we'll have to go to the supermarket today. And I was like, okay. So I got very excited. I have been right here in Orlando probably about 2 months, maybe. And then so I said, what time are we going? Because then I know how much time I have to get ready. So he said, like in about an hour or two, you know, once the game is finished. it's done. So then I thought, okay, great. So I made my plan. I took a bath, did my hair, did my nails, got my outfit out, and then once I'm done, I choose everything, and I went out, and then I said like, well, I am ready, and he said like, where are you going? And I said, you told me we're going to the supermarket, and he said like, what? He said, nobody goes to the supermarket
all dressed up
like that, and he said, where you got all that clothes? I was like, it's in my closet. So yeah, that was my experience when I got to the States, and he said like, we have to find some jeans.
Yeah.
And I said, like, I don't have jeans. So I have one pair of jeans in my closet, and I never wear it.
Oh, wow.
I just don't. It wasn't my thing. So
well, there are a lot of places in the country that actually still do that, dress up and stuff, and it's different. So it really depends on where you're at. But I'm with you. I'm not a super big fan with the... I probably wouldn't wear my pajamas. Nobody's going to catch me in my pajamas at the grocery store. Yeah. Although I do feed the chickens in my pajamas. But but that's about it.
They don't talk.
That's as close as it gets. Yeah. Well, Abigail, it's been wonderful talking to you. I wish you loads of luck. And I definitely want to make sure that everybody knows where you're at again. So tell us where you're located again, where you're moving to.
So I'm located at Haymore Plaza, 500 East Fried, first floor, back of the building, L15.
Okay.
But the sign is outside and also at the door and at the window. And then hopefully by the 1st of April, I will be moving. I will be at my new place. So
right by Cafe Olé.
By Cafe Olé. So it is 1,000 square foot, which is pretty good.
Wow, that's big.
Yes, I will be offering a little bit more than I offer right now because of the space.
Okay.
So that would include classes.
Wow.
Yes,
oh, nice.
That would
Very
include
cool.
Classes. So I'm getting ready to do all of that. Renovations, hopefully, all of that will work out as, once more.
All right. So
is it just you, or how many employees do you have?
Right now I have two. I have two part-times.
Okay.
I have two part-times. And hopefully,
as things grow,
then I get a few
more people.
Get a few more, yes. Because I do have my goals of expansion.
Yeah.
I started at home, by the way. So I started at home. Yeah. And then because I didn't know what to do in Sierra Vista, and then, we were not going to be here for a long time. So I ended up, starting at home. It grew so fast from home. I ended up moving at the mall. I worked from home for 4 years, moved at the mall for 4 years, been in the plaza for 2.5 years, moving to the new location.
Wow.
So I do have plans to keep,
well, you're
keep
definitely
going.
been around a while. So that's awesome that you're pretty stable. So that kind of says something about the kind of work you do. Well, I'm definitely going to come see you. I hope everybody listening is writing down those numbers and locating. Again, Haymore Plaza, look for Abigail Designs. And you can have something altered or you could have something brand new, something just that unique to you. Very cool. Well, thanks, Abigail.
Awesome.
I really appreciate it. Yeah.
See you soon.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Okay, this has been Keepin' It Real, brought to you by the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty Studios. We're keeping it real, and we'll see you next week. Tax time is here, but before you spend Visit Sherry at Long Realty behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard in Sierra Vista. Call or text 717-599-2439 or Google us for more information. Real integrity, real results.
Well, folks, that's a wrap on this week's Keepin' It Real radio show. As always, we're so grateful to have you spend part of your Saturday morning with us. Whether you're sipping coffee on the porch, out running errands, or out shopping for a home, we appreciate you. If something we said today sparked a question, or if you've got a great topic or guest idea for a future episode, we'd love to hear it. You can drop your suggestion in the Keepin' It Real suggestion box at the front desk of Long Realty, right behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. Or just shoot me an email at sherry@sherryethelteam.com or call or text me anytime at 717-599-2439. We love hearing from you. It helps us keep this show real, relevant, and rooted in our Cochise County community. We'll be back next Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. right here on 97.7 Canyon Country, your first choice for legendary country.
Until then, stay safe, stay kind, and as always, keep it real, Cochise County.
What's in a name? Everything. Long Realty has been a cornerstone of Southern Arizona's real estate market for nearly 100 years. Our name is our bond, and our agents are our strength. Trust in the name that stands for experience and expertise. Visit longrealty.com or call 520-459-4993 to connect with an agent today. Long Realty. Smart move.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Keepin' It Real radio show. Join us next Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. for more engaging interviews with top realtors and industry leaders, keeping you informed about the latest trends in real estate. Stay connected with us as we bring you updates on the dynamic events shaping our vibrant community. From exciting local happenings to noteworthy charities and causes, we've got you covered. See you next week for another edition of Keepin' It Real.